Hey guys, my name is Siniak and welcome back to Australia in Transport Fever 2, where our networks have never looked so damn crazy in all their lives. We are pretty much going to every city in the game right now, except two. One of them is Toowoomba over here, which is getting no public transport and no goods delivered. And the second one is all the way over here. Where is it, boys? Where is it? Laverton. There we go, another city. They're the only two cities that we have not connected up right now in the whole entirety of Australia. And that's because they are a little bit out of the way. They're in awkward positions, and hopefully we'll get them set up at some point. But last episode, I redid this. Now, some of you guys are like saying, Seniac, it looks no different, but trust me, this is so much more efficient than what it originally was. We've taken triple stations and combined them all together. They all connect to one another, all crisscross one another right now, and we have so many lines coming in and out. We've bulked up the lines, we've added little flyover routes, we've increased the capacity of the lines. Things are now running more smoothly than ever, but there's still a few things that I want to do to make it a little bit more efficient. One of them is this line that comes down here has to crisscross and stop a bunch of traffic to get on its current line. I probably am going to change that up slightly. That would be pretty handy for us. And two, some of the lines are bringing other goods here that they shouldn't be. And I need to kind of sort that out as well. So we're going to sort those two things out, and one big thing that we need to do is we need to get more steel delivered to this plant. So we're going to have to create a brand new steel line as well so we can produce more goods. Now I have a sneaky suspicion we're also going to have to increase the oil delivery over here so we can kind of pick up more fuel and deliver it to the platforms over there so we can distribute it a lot more easier as well. There's a lot of stuff we got to do. And I'm really excited about this, boys. I'm really excited about this. If you are enjoying this series, make sure you smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you are new around here so you get notified when more episodes do come out. But we've got a lot to get done, boys. A lot to get done. So first things first, then, we're actually going to quickly pause the game. And I'm going to delete these train tracks here. Now, we know from the last episode, it now takes me a while to delete train tracks. Because we just have that many in the game right now. Right, delete, delete, delete. Right, there we go. And we're going to try and delete these backwards as much as we can. Bit long-winded, but bear with me, boys. And we've got to figure out what the best method for this here, this line, to come up and over or under and over to connect to this here. Now, I think an easy one would be maybe coming over as an overpass and then bending round and then connected in. That will kind of keep it completely separate. But what is that line doing in general? Well, that line is getting the goods. We're actually looking at the Mackay one. It's getting the goods from here, Mackay, and going all the way to Mackay and delivering the fuel there. So it picks up the refined oil, drops it here for this refinery to pretty much turn it into fuel. Now, it utilizes this line. There is a lot of traffic that does come through this. So I don't know whether it would be a good idea to have this be completely separate so there's no interruptions. I wonder if I have the ability to build another set of train tracks and a platform. That means it can have its own platform, its own line, and doesn't have to share it with anybody else. Thus, uninterrupted, baby. Uninterrupted. Now that sounds pretty amazing, right? That does sound pretty amazing. But building it is a challenge all on its own. It is a challenge all on its own, boys. So I've got an idea. And hopefully this is going to work. Hopefully it's going to work right now. We're going to go all the way down with this. And then we're going to have to skedaddle through all of this right now with building extra train tracks. So it's lovely that the game now takes forever. So much computing power is now needed to place down train tracks. There we go. And we got a few more here. And done. So that's all now in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that now. It's going to be a single line. It doesn't need to be a double line no more because we're not running the multiple trains to and from all of this. So it's going to run out and it's going to follow this line running all the way down. I'm going to ultimately have to change up how it all comes into play. And it's going to run to here, but that's where it then separates from. So we're going to bring it, I was going to say up and out, but I'm going to bring it just to there. And that line is going to come through and then pass over to connect to this. Now, this is technically a double line, which it doesn't really need to be anymore. I could delete it and save some train tracks, but you know the hassle with now trying to delete train tracks. So I'm going to bring this through. We're going to raise it up. You raise me up. I mean, I could raise it up, or I can make it go underground. It doesn't really matter. But however I do it, I've got to be wary. Where's the snap anyway? So the snap goes there. We'll do that as the bridge. And then we need to kind of bend this in. So if I was to run, for example, I don't think it would make much wise decision to snap to that. But how low can I make this? I don't want to go too high that I ruin things. But that will work. Delete you. We no longer need you. And then from this, pushing all the way through to here. Actually, I want to see if I can snap it into this first. It does want to create a bridge, which we'll try and keep to the design aspect of what we currently got going on. And that connects into there. Bit funky, but bear with me, okay? It's a bit funky, but bear with me. Now, we're going to merge this into there. There's no other reason behind it. And this would go to here as a signal. You never know. We could add multiple in, but it gives us the option to do so if needs be. Problem is, though, this train is now stuck all the way over there. So on the way back, it's not going to be able to merge over here. So that's going to be quite fun trying to get it back in. So what I'm going to have to do with the train tracks right now is merge that like that. And then that solves it. But I gotta wait for this train to now head back. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So wait for it to drop off then. It's now going to have an uninterrupted route, which means more oil delivered here, which then means more fuel being produced. That's pretty much what it means. So we got to play the waiting game now. We got to play the waiting game for this train to head back. Now it should be set up where that line coming down. Oh, I've got to also change the platforms as well. I just remembered that. So manage the line. So when it's on the way back right now, so in McKay, it needs to go to number 6. And only number 6. There we go. So when it comes to where it splits now, you should see it go straight through, which it does, and not crisscross anywhere else. So let's just now wait for this train to get through. It's got to wait for another oncoming train. And is it electric? It is electric, which is perfect. So it's got the ultimate pulling power. Ultimate pulling power, and that's one less train on this main drag, which is causing issues. It's so overly complicated right now. This is what happens when you build a line or build a system, they want to expand upon it. So that's now going to pass through. Once it's all completely done, I will then delete the crissy crosses, so no train can accidentally utilize it. And we are now good to go on that route, boys. Good to go. Dedicated, baby. No interruptions. So next, I gotta sort these lines out. So the Adelaide line, we need to manage it where it's only, once it gets to the Adelaide there, unloading fuel. And Mount Isa, only picking up fuel in Mount Isa. Unfortunately, I've got to go through every single one of these right now and make sure that they do this. Otherwise, we've got big issues. So Albury, only unload fuel. Mount Isa, only load fuel. That's all you've got to do. Now, these are the ones that have the big issues. So in Albury, this is our goods line, by the way. It should only, in Albury, be unloading goods. And in Mount Isa, it should only be loading goods. You see what I mean? Because it's trying to do a little bit of everything. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works. So Canberra in Mount Isa, only loading the goods. Easy. So that's Albury, that's Canberra right now. The steel's okay. I'm only looking at lines right now that are trying to carry multiple goods. This is a goods line, isn't it? Yeah. As long as we sort that out, that saves us loads of time. Now, Cairns goods over here. Same issues again. I can also now change the colour of that line as well, by the way. Perfect. Mount Isa, you're only loading goods. I mean, doing that should be enough anyway. And you're only unloading goods. There we go. Grafton's okay. No, Grafton's not. Grafton's... Wait, hold on. Is Grafton okay? No, it's Mackay goods that are now trying to do something else. So Mount Isa, only load the goods. Mackay siding sittings, only unload the goods. Very good, very good. And... that should be the rest. So we'll come back at some point and just double check. So I don't want to sit there for all of them if I don't need to do all of them in general. That should save us a little bit of time. That oil train is now ticking down. Going back again, uninterrupted, loving life. So many trains right now. It's a crazy network, isn't it? It is a crazy network. Just double checking everywhere else that we don't have any jams. I'm just double checking everywhere is still free flowing. Because you never know. I had a jam before and didn't know. And I was losing quite a bit of money for many, many years. Many, many years. So that's all good then. The excess goods that are on the platform that don't need to go anywhere will eventually die out. We need to get this more steel. So, how can we get more steel? Where is the closest steel plant right now? There's actually one just here in Mount Isa. But I need ore, which is an abundancy up here. And I need a pocket of coal. I mean, there's coal right up there as well. There's only 2 though, which doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because I can control that by the trains. Do you know what? That would be the perfect route coming down. But the issue is, I don't want to use the public transport line here because I want it to be separate because we then got to crisscross out. And I can get it connected to an extra connection here. So if I built an extra line, because this is all intertwined with one another and goes to both industries, I can just run it into this and utilize that side as a platform. Oh, this is so good. This is so good when you have everything all planned out and it's all going to be efficient. So that will connect into there to drop the steel off. I've just got to produce the steel. Now, I could get it either to run on this line, which is not an issue, or I can have a separate train station altogether. Now, this doesn't connect to there, does it? Just out of coincidence or out of interest. See, it does. So I could get cargo trains to run in there. That's putting a lot of pressure on that line. But it also saves me a lot of hassle and a lot of pain. It's just then trying to get the goods out of here to over there. Which would make then sense to have a separate line altogether, right? Yeah. We're going to do a separate one. I thought about it for a second there. We're going to do a separate one so nothing crisscrosses or causes any issues. So spin this right round. Now I'm going to build it just here out the way. So we've got space to do the connection, the crisscross. I'll delete this building and also to go across the road. And we'll connect this up via train tracks anyway. Actually, I'm going to delete that again. Because like a damn fool, I didn't do high speed. It doesn't need to be how I'm thinking it needs to be as well. I could have 3 train tracks. And that do exactly... I don't need to have bypassing or connections. I could just do like that and have separate lines running. Because I'm only going to have 1 train on each line anyway. And what I want to do, or what I want to try and be able to do is... place a... and it will be a double now. Which doesn't really matter for me. But spin that right round like this. And then do a singular, spin it right round, and put it here. So we'll come back to everything in just a minute. I'm going to get the outer side to connect into that. Right. And then we're going to get the outer side there. If I went for a straight connection, it wants to tunnel a lot of it, which I'm not kind of comfortable with. It wants to bridge there, which I don't want it to bridge. And then confirm that. And then run this up. Now, it's going to tunnel. If it is going to tunnel, then it is what it is. I'm not going to complain too much. It's trying to create a bridge just there, which I don't want. And then confirm that. And then this second one's going to run all the way down. Which doesn't like the idea of running that far with it. So run that down to there. Oh, it really doesn't like it, does it? What's going on here? Am I not fully connected to it? Right, run that to there. And then run that directly in. So one single line back and forth for the coal and the ore. That's all it's going to be, but I'm utilizing and connecting them together to make it as efficient as I can. Now, obviously, there'll be more ore to pick up than there is coal, but that doesn't matter if I'm just simply limited based on what the train capacity is. So it makes no difference to us. So hopefully this train station connects to all three, which it does. Do the same over here now. So bring that down to there. I know this looks very funky and awkward, but that should connect to both, which it does. And then all I've got to do is then get a new line from here to here. And then another new line from here to here. And the first new line is going to be our coal line, so we'll make it black. And then the color of ore, which is orange. And we're going to call them both... We're going to both call them Mount Coal. Where's that one gone now? That line 2. Mount Coal and Mount Ore. Just so we understand both of them. So Mount Coal, which is just here. I don't need to do anything else. I just realised it's just a simple back and forth. As long as I just get the trains connected to them, I honestly don't need to do anything else. Except, right boys, except right now, the train depot, which I'm going to build just here for them. I'm going to make it super simple and super easy to get the connection in. So into there, that is going to run into here and merge in. But I need one to come from this angle. That's going to be the one that connects to the steel line that delivers the goods. So if I now buy, and if we go electric, bam, cargo, and we need the gondola ones, and if I do a 300 capacity, and buy, and then I do a 380 capacity. No, we're going to do a 360 capacity for the second one. So the bigger one is the coal run. The bigger one is the Mount Coal, because the extra distance it has to travel. So I'm trying to counterbalance it. So Mount Coal, and then we have Mount Ore. So Mount Ore just there. So that sorts them both out. I just now got to do the line that runs down here and then connects to over there, which should be fairly easy in reality. So if I start it here, and it needs to kind of go like this way. Too much of a slope, apparently. What do you mean too much of a slope? Oh, is it trying to crisscross underground here? I think it is, right? So if I run to there, and then I run directly into that, where is it trying to create a bridge? I don't like the idea of a bridge. So I'm going to do a land bridge. Makes sense, right? Because I've got to terraform this whole area anyway. And then from there into there. Now, the great thing about all of this, no signals are required. And normally when they build train lines, they do build them slightly elevated. And then the ground kind of gets risen either side of it. That's normally what happens. Now, I'm going to get caught in the trap right now of doing all of this, but I'm going to do it because it's allowing the coal and ore to be transported to the the steel plant, to where we will then produce all the steel. Right, this is going to take a while, isn't it? This is a lot higher than I was expecting it to be. So if I just kind of pump out a little bit larger, so then the smoothing will be a little bit quicker to kind of complete. Would you look at that, boys? Would you look at that? This is my final chance right now to terraform this whole actual station. Maybe. But I'm not going to go too far into it. Because I got a lot of work still left to get done. But there is a lot I really want to terraform. And it is better to do terraforming in pause. But I'm trying to allow this to kind of move along a bit. Right. That now gets set up. It's a big... Oh, I didn't terraform all this little section. It's a big runway we got to do. A real big run. Now, these aren't doing anything. Is that... Oh, it's because we're not even connected to the actual plant just yet. I just realized we're not even connected to this. So right now, it's doing nothing. Right, there we go. Now we should start seeing coal and ore being placed on the platforms, which both of them, as you can see, have got the symbols above them. Right. I almost made a boo-boo. Right, that's real good then. That's real good. So just quickly do a little bit of this here. Wherever I can. Wherever I can, boys. But I ain't going to hold it too much. Right, let's get this next line set up then. So this is obviously for delivering steel to over here. And that's all it's going to do. We need to call it, we're going to call it our Mount Steel. I'm sure we've got multiple Mount Isosteel. And all that kind of, yeah, we've got one being delivered anyway. I think we got two being delivered, if I'm not mistaken. One's called Mildura Steel, I think. And we're going to grab a train for it. So we'll go electric, cargo. Now, how many flat car side stakes were we going to need? I reckon I'll go for a 200 capacity. I actually don't know how long the journey is compared to the others. It could be a little bit too big. So Mount Steel, which is just there. Change the colour to white. It's actually a shorter journey than what they've got to do, but they're obviously carrying a lot more. But you never know. You never know. Right now, we'll just kind of see what happens. So that'll take a little bit of a while to kind of get into the swing of things. And for it to start ultimately producing a lot of steel. But that will now have more steel delivered, which can then produce more goods, and then we can finally max it out. Very nice. Does the McKay line have it all set up? Yeah. More goods then being produced. So next, we need this to have more refined or more oil being delivered, so it can then create more fuel, and we can then deliver more fuel. So we've actually kind of helped out by, you know, picking up more and dropping off more and that kind of jazz. But we need more in general. It's only got 64 to work with. So where do we have the ability to bring more in? Now, this can only produce so much, so we have to kind of create a whole new oil run all together. Now, where are there oil kind of refineries nearby? Let's actually check our resources right now, and we're looking for these. So bring this down a bit more. So this is what we're looking for. The Broome refinery, which is over here, we're utilizing. We've got two there. Is that Toowoomba's got one. Where are you? Just here. So Toowoomba's got one, which is just here. How would I bring that to over there? Actually, I could do that really easy. But then I need to deliver oil to it. We've got oil over there, but we're using it. We have one just there. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. Worst case scenario, I have to bring it from further out, which only means I make more money. Let's not beat around the bush, boys. And then we've got to deliver it to over here. That's really it. That's an interesting line I've got to now kind of create. Because it's going to crisscross and divide everything. Let me just see if there's a better variation first. Because there might be something over here I can utilize. We've got this refinery over here. How are you doing? You're maxed out as well. Now, they're the only refineries I've got, right? That one there is the only one I'm not using in Toowoomba. So it would make sense to kind of utilize from that. But it's getting the oil. There's nothing else around it just to be double checking. No. That is the closest. Okay, if that's the closest, then we'll go with it. We'll go with it right now. So spin it right round. We'll place this just here. Now, this is just going to be a simple double tracker. And spin that to there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. One line's going to run up and in. A second line's going to run all the way to over here. That's literally all it needs to do. Now, you could argue I could deliver it into this area to drop it off at this platform to be then transported down, meaning that these trains that are carrying stuff will carry a lot more, which probably makes a lot more sense. So I would have to then incorporate this within this line. Now we have that coming into there. I have this coming into here. It's going to be a bit of a mess trying to bring in another train in general. But I have this line here that kind of comes through. Maybe this could share it with this. Also, who... Oh no, because then that will mean it will deliver it to the Rockhampton oil as well. And I don't want it to kind of share it to that. I want it to go separately to the fuel area. Okay, forget what I just said. Forget everything I just said. We're not going to do it like that. But how are we going to do this? Because this is clearly going to need to cross over. Now, if I don't let it cross over, I'm then stuck with trying to get it to use a commuter line. We have multiple trains already utilizing these. I don't really want to create another crisscross and connect to it. But all it's going to do is come down here to connect to there, which for me doesn't really make much sense. I've already figured out where the sense is now made. Right, I've just figured it out, boys. I've just figured it out. Right, so if I raise this, actually, if I raise you and then go across... Right, I'm just trying to find the perfect height. Right, I think I've almost got the perfect height. So, coming across, bridge spaces. Perfect. Connect you to there. You're to here. Perfect. So, this will run straight. Which is snapping there. And it's got to go over to there. Just making sure we're not doing any bridges. And then this will do the same, but then this will take a diversion at some point to go down here. Now, if I ran this, which is nicely placed, that's snapped. There's no bridges, is there? No. And then get this to bend into there, which the sharp bend is a bit too sharp. So do you reckon that is wide enough? Because it can maintain speed then. No bridges. Very good. That there runs up and directly in. Which of course needs to run in a straight line. To the point of where it needs to now bend a little bit. So let's bring it back to there. Get rid of the bridges. And then from there to here. So it maintains complete and utter speed. This will get all the way down to here. And bam, in. What just happened? Where was the snap? Where was the snap, boys? Where was that snap? Completely ruined my plans. Completely ruined my plans there, didn't it? Alright. That's now followed where it needs to follow. Running directly in. Glorious. So I'm this guy now just pretty much going to get this connected in. Now I'm going to kind of create a separate little connection here so it doesn't have to share it with the current line. And it's not picking anything up, it's just dropping something off, so it doesn't need to do anything else. Now I've got two options. I can either let it run all the way down like this. No bridges, please. No bridges. And then we're done. So obviously, without the fact that I need to do a bunch of terraforming, that should be pretty glorious. And we'll see how much I can kind of get away with here before I restrict myself again. Alright, nice and steady. Nice and steady. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right, let's just calm it down a bit now. I know I've got to do a lot of terraforming, but the big bits will have to wait. I'll do the small bits real quick, but the big bits will have to wait. They will now have to wait. Right, new line. So from there to here. Now, what do I call it? It's going to Toowoomba, so we're going to call it the Toowoomba line. And this is picking up the crude oil. So, Toowoomba crude oil. There we go. And then another new line. From there all the way up to here. Which is the refined oil. So, Toowoomba oil is what we'll then call that one. So make that black as well. And then we need to place in. And I'll pretty much just do the building here. So spin it right round. Makes life so much easier then, doesn't it? There we go. There we go. So, buy vehicles. Electric. And we need to go cargo all the way down to oil. 300 capacity for the Toowoomba crude oil is where we'll start. So Toowoomba crude oil. And then, is it, I'll press play right now. Is it a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1? It's a 2-to-1. But obviously it has to go a longer distance. Only by a little bit more. So I won't make it a 300 capacity. I'll make this next electric train a 200 capacity. So 200 capacity for Toowoomba. Oil. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So that line now set up should feed this with more oil, which would then produce more fuel, because the numbers are just considerably quite low in general. It is quite low in general. So that will help us out. This is obviously getting more steel. There looks to be a steel train on the way down carrying 45. Again, it'll take a while for it to all kind of increase. But we're getting somewhere right now with this all having more goods. And we just got to like level this up and get the transport numbers up. I think it's actually picking up steel for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. Is it for the first time? Yes. So 45 in its first time? I don't think that's too bad. It all helps out, boys. It all helps out and just keeps increasing the production and shipment numbers. Very good, sir. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So we're just now playing the waiting game. We are now playing the waiting game. I could try and do some terraforming. I wish we had bigger brushes. Is there a mod where you can get bigger brushes? If anyone knows, let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, go around the edges right there. I just want to terrain it just so, you know, you haven't got the rocky edge. It looks like smooth sand. There we go. There we go. That would do me. It looks a lot better now, doesn't it? It actually looks pretty cool, I ain't gonna lie. It does look pretty cool. So that's going to pick up some oil for the first time. There's 130 out on the platform already for it. So next time round, there should be a lot more. Right, off the train goes, off the train goes. And by the time that now turns and goes back, that train's not even halfway from this route. So yeah, I think having 100 less should work out pretty well for us. It should work out pretty well. Right, is that steel train on the way back right now? It's got 45 again, believe it or not. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Right, you gotta wait for these numbers to increase before the demands increase. That's all you can do, and you gotta also get these shipment numbers above. So it always takes a little bit of a while before the a new industry line is up and running. Right, why is McKay still wanting these foods? Unless it's still on the platform, it hasn't disappeared in quite some time. Yeah, now it's disappeared. So there's no other kind of lines right now demanding multiple goods, which is perfect for us. Obviously, we could have made more money, but it kind of ruins everything else and puts more stress on the industries trying to ship the goods to them. I'd rather keep it nice and simple. Now, we have a lot of fuel here. Who has a lot of fuel waiting? Sydney. We do have 2 trains, which we might add an extra wagon to each one. So that should increase the amount picked up. An extra 40 might might not make much of a difference, but every little helps. And then these 3 here will add 1 on each one. And then finances, yeah, we should make some big cash off that one. And over here in the machines, Rocky Machines demands a lot. I might actually just duplicate the train and just get a second train for Rocky. Yeah. Makes so much more sense, doesn't it? Right, what's going on? Oh, there is so much confuffle and confusion over here as well. Right, Rocky Tools. We need to manage this line right now, where in Toowoomba, you are only loading tools. In Rocky Point, you're only unloading tools. Thank you very much. Please stop trying to deliver stuff that you're not meant to, because it puts pressure on all of our other networks. Right, that's Rocky. Wagga Wagga's doing the same thing as well. So, in Toowoomba, you only load tools. You only unload tools. There we go. And who else is doing it as well? Wagga Wagga. Is Newcastle's trying to do it at the same time. So in Toowoomba, you're only loading tools. And you're only unloading tools. So I think that will be okay for just a hot min. And we'll see how we get on. Brisbane's actually grown quite a bit, hasn't it? But yeah, it's had a skyrocket boost. It wants to get to 1,000 in capacity, like in population. It's going to struggle for that until the land's kind of all sorted. You're going to really flatten it and smoothen it. I can flatten it as much as you can. Then you can smoothen it to a nice gradient, which might give us a little bit of building space. That's what you have to do half the time, is smoothen the land around, because the terrain is what hinders the buildings growing. And there you go, you start getting some buildings coming in then. There's a connection there that will be really, really beneficial for the road. But I think that is too much of a drop, isn't it? Yeah, way too much of a drop. Unless we can build a tunnel. I'm going to build a tunnel underneath. And then maybe... Oh, wrong button. How did that happen? Could we go through here with this? Yeah. That's not on the train tracks, is it? So just doing stuff like that just makes it a little bit more reachable. And it will also help us when we come to doing our bus routes as well. Alright, we'll see how we get on with that. I don't want to mess around with it too much. I don't really want to mess around with it too much. How's the passenger line anyway? Is this now starting to make money yet? No, it's still refusing to make sweet cash. It could be I've got one too many trains on board, so I'm going to have to get rid of one of the trains. And try and reduce the amount of expenditures. So I do have quite a few trains. We'll sell one. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Then see how we get on. I need to build bus routes on all these towns on this east coast. So we can bring maximum passengers to the train. And that should then really up the numbers. It really should. It really should. Now this is divided nicely into what it actually needs. This is now maxed out because it's got more steel being delivered, so it should always be producing goods. Which more goods that get produced means more goods being delivered, which means the cities that get the goods can then grow a bit more. That's about to run out of oil right now. Obviously we have a train on the way back to pick up it. This train's on the way. Has it dropped off anything at all yet? It has done some. But obviously it keeps needing to be producing it. Now this is about to pick up oil. Why is that about to pick up oil right now? Oh my goodness me. Stop doing this. Right. Your job in Toowoomba West right now is to solely load it with refined oil. And then only unload it with refined oil. The pain, boys. The pain right now. That means all the oil that gets delivered, the crude oil, is for this to refine it. But delivery is now taking place, which is pretty sweet. Here comes another steel train. Only got 42 on board at the minute. So we got to wait for these numbers to be up. Oh, it's now actually upgrading as well. So that's perfect. It will now start producing even more. It will now start producing more. That means it will then start demanding more. So it's all happening, guys. It just takes time. You got to have patience with this stuff, but it does take time. It does take time. Right, anywhere around here right now that could look like it needs a little bit of a boost. in terms of what it can distribute. We have a lot of plain timber over here, the Newcastle planks that go all the way up to there. We have a train with a 200 capacity. That is not the train in question. Where's the plank of wood train? It's here. That needs consistently more planks. So I'm thinking there's got to be a way here in which we can kind of do something a little bit different. Maybe give it its own route. Or take a few trains off this route. Because that is clearly not enough. Right, what I'm going to do, it's a diesel train, isn't it? We'll put electric on it. And then cargo-wise, we'll make it a 300 capacity for now. What I can do is make the lines that require to go through here, because they kind of merge into this. You see the wood trains on its own. We'll try and keep them all separate as they merge up to there, and keep the wood routes separate as well. We'll take a look at that next episode. I'm not too worried about that just now. I've increased the pulling power, and I've made it have a 300 capacity. Right, this should have got more delivery, which it has, which means it can now produce more. So it's picking up the fuel, and it's picking up the... Oh! No! I'm now going to change the amount of ISO fuel here to manage this line, because it's taking fuel back. I don't want it to do that. So in Alice Springs, all you're doing is loading up fuel. Actually, you can unload the oil there. That's all you're doing. And then Upper Mount Isa, all you're doing is loading up the crude oil and unloading the fuel. No, it still doesn't work out, does it? It still doesn't work out because Alice Springs here. Oh no, it does. It doesn't load up. But then you're heavily relying on the other train taking the oil back. Ah. Unless I build a separate train station. Because building a separate train station would solve the issue. So that line, Mount Isa fuel, right, in Alice Springs here, it could still pick up that, because it's got to pick it up. No, it doesn't. I tell a lie. It doesn't have to pick it up at all. Because that's got to be delivered to here. So here, it picks it up and then drops it off. No, I've got it right. So I don't need the extra one. So that should dwindle down then. That number of 18. As it can't do anything with it. Yeah, it's now down to 17. So that can now produce more. We'll have another delivery on the way, which looks like it's going to deliver 108. And then we should have a delivery soon with one of these trains and then leaving. 61 on board. And then this train here should pick up a bill of oil as well to take back. 20 million it just made, by the way. So that's now got 67 to head back. And so this should keep having those numbers upped. Well, that's what we like to think anyway. That is what we like to think. We'll see what happens with this. There's 2 trains now coming in. Or it'd be 3 trains in total, wouldn't it? It would be 3 trains in total. Yeah. Okay. That's now about to deliver some goods. This can then start producing again. So 100 and something being delivered. We're about to have 100 and something here be delivered. Or 60 odd, whatever it was. What was it? 61. Get delivered there. So we can keep producing. Now, we've got to give it time to build all this stuff up. So we can then see the benefits. But it is slowly happening, guys. It's slowly happening. Once the shipment numbers increase, this will level up as well. We are getting somewhere, baby. We really are. We really are. And hopefully that means we are now starting to make a little bit more money. So we've just had a new record high profit income. 1.81 billion. Before, it was 1.8 billion. We got an extra 0.01. And that is because we are now becoming a lot more efficient. We're carrying a lot more goods. And we're just making even more money, guys. We really are. We really are. So we're going to leave the trains for a little while right now. Next episode, we're going to look at buses. And we're going to look at, and I'm going to say this, guys, don't get too carried away right now, planes. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. If you did, smash that like button down below. Until next time, I see you all soon. So goodbye.